AMG family, Mondo here. Hey, just wanted to make sure real quick before we get started that you guys have subscribed to the AMG Podcast channel. Go below if you can't see it, look a little, scroll down, whatever you got to do. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us immensely here at the AMG Podcast. The second thing we need you to do is turn on your notifications. That way, anytime we drop new content, you are the first to be notified. That way we can grow together. We can learn in life together and do life together. All right. So with that said, let's get to it. All right, guys, welcome to the AMG Podcast. As you got Mondo Grimes here. We are, man, in for a treat today. I'm here to introduce one of my buddies, man. This is one of my guys. And actually, he probably hasn't thought about this, but we've known each other over 10 years now. Yeah.
I haven't thought about that.
Yeah. And man, this is a guy that I respect highly. I've seen him in a couple different areas of life. Going into fatherhood and, you know, changing businesses and a lot of things that we'll get into. So I want to introduce you all to my good friend, Garrett Ware. What's up, homie? How are you, man?
What's up, man? How's it going, Mondo?
Doing fantastic, brother. Doing fantastic. So, hey, man, there's a lot I want to dig into, but at first, just do the high level stuff. Where are you from, man? I know where you're from, but tell everybody where you're from, man.
Yeah, Greenville, Tennessee native, born and raised here all 32, almost 33 years of my life. So been in East Tennessee, did a little bit of traveling. We left the area for a while as far as hometown goes, but have always had roots here in East Tennessee. Love it, love the mountains, love the people. So that's where I've chosen to stay for now.
The prettiest part of Tennessee, in my opinion.
I think so.
The East. Yeah.
I think so. We've got some pretty terrain, pretty trails, pretty waterfalls.
Yeah. Now, you're close. Are you close to Johnson City?
Yes, I am 30 minutes from Johnson City.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was that close. All right, cool. Yep. Awesome, man. Yeah, see, so a decade ago, I didn't have any friends from East Tennessee. So I would dare say you were the first.
That could be a good thing. You never know.
Yeah, you were definitely the first. And so kind of give everybody some background on how this guy here and myself, you know, became buddies. So we ran into each other in a business. We both were in the insurance business. Actually, when I got into it, Garrett had been there probably maybe a year-ish, kind of?
Yeah, a year going on 2 years, I believe. I started in 13 with that particular company.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, so we met, we're part of the same agency doing our thing there, man. We had some phenomenal friendly competition. He had a team, I had an agency as well, and we were battling and always had a mutual respect for one another. And I'm gonna jump into this though. Because I don't want to save it. One of the reasons why I respect you, man, and why I want to talk to you is because of how you and I were able to handle conflict resolution.
Mm-hmm.
There was a particular situation where neither one of us really understood the fine details of what was going on. But and instead of making assumptions and pointing at each other and then walking away and not talking to one another, we were grown men about it, and we sat and talked, had another individual there as well, and we had the conversation.
Yeah.
That, you don't know how far that went with me, man.
Mm-hmm. Likewise.
Yeah, that was huge. And so I was like, you know what? I could rock with this dude. I can rock with it too.
Likewise.
Because there was a lot of people are afraid of that moment, like walking into the tension and working it out as grown adults.
Yeah.
Right. And so just a lot of respect for you, man. And that was one of the highlights of the beginning, I think, of our palship is what I call it.
Yeah.
But I think in the beginning you got married, right? So you're a father, you're a husband. You've got 3 beautiful. Tell us about your family, man.
Yeah, man. Married, 3 kids. We got 2 boys and a girl. 7-year-old, 6-year-old girl, and a 3-year-old boy. And man,
Party
it's just
time.
it's a big giant circus all the time. You know that. You've got your own, and ours are to the ages now to where, you know, we're getting into the sports. They're all playing everything, which just means our calendar is black, like it has no space. And then like I keep getting conned into like coaching these little youth teams and stuff. So like it's fun though. It's a big beautiful circus. We love it. That's the highlight. That's the highlight for me is chasing the kids around.
You're a big kid yourself though, man. That's one thing I love about your spirit, man. You find a good time pretty much everywhere you go.
Yes.
And
try to.
if not creative.
Even when times are not fun, we try to have fun.
Exactly, man. I love it. And so I've been married, man, a hot minute now. Because when I met you, you and Sarah had just gotten married. I think.
Yeah, we were married in 15, so this year will be 10 years.
There we go. Yep. See, that's what I
Yep.
thought. I know it was like
Next
right
next
around.
month, actually a month and 2 days, 7-Eleven.
Oh, a whole dime piece. Okay.
7-Eleven.
You gotta lock that in, homie. That's a dime
Yes.
piece. You got a 10 years. That's a big one.
We have
Yeah.
Slurpees at the wedding too. We made it official. Like it was actually a 7-Eleven wedding, so
You see what I'm saying, guys? See, my man makes it a good time.
we have Slurpee machines.
Who brings alert? I love that. That makes it so fun, playful, man. That is
She
so
knew that I
dope.
wouldn't forget it. That was the reason, that she knew that I wouldn't forget it if we had like a Slurpee machine at the reception.
Dude, I love that. But I think that what we're hearing from you and how fun and playful and positive, I think people hear
Mhm.
that in your tone, plays a lot into what I want to discuss with you, man, and you can share. So, we were in the same business, obviously,
Mhm.
and some time goes on, and you decide to make a pivot,
Yeah.
right? And now talk to us about that burning desire inside, like you're doing something, but there's something else really stirring. Kind
Yeah.
of talk to us about that process, right? What was that feeling like? And then you made the plunge to make a shift, but just what was going on inside of Garrett at that moment?
Yeah, the I won't take us like super far back, but I can talk about a few moments before the pivot. Like you mentioned, it had been burning for a while.
Mm,
The industry that we were in, I tell everyone it was a wonderful, wonderful industry.
absolutely.
Provided very well for my family. It still does, actually.
Absolutely.
Still does provide for the family. And so I had this little burning passion though, and it started literally as the joke of this little thing. Well, what's this little thing that you've got going on the side now? And it literally started back when our firstborn was still a baby. Sarah wanted to get a camera just to
Mm,
document family life
okay.
with the kid. And that same year, we were pinned to take a trip to Banff, Alberta, Canada.
Hmm.
Again, thanks to the industry that we were in,
Hmm.
and bless my wife's heart, I bought her that camera. She touched it one time, and I fired the shutter one time, and it was like crack. Now I've never
Ooh.
done crack, but if I were to have done it, that's what that feeling would have been,
For the
because she
record.
never.
For
Yeah,
the
for the record, for the record, I know we're in East Tennessee,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
that feeling that I got from firing the shutter, like I'm getting chills talking about it right now.
Wow,
I
man.
was like, this is something that I can stay hooked on. And she
Mm.
never touched the camera again. And still to this day, like we joke about it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I bought that for me. Like, didn't know it at the time, but I bought that for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so that was a solid, so that was a solid 3 years.
Okay.
No, 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 2 years before the pivot.
Oh,
But I
wow.
kept, yeah, I kept hanging on to that thing. Like I took the camera with me everywhere. When I was out traveling
Yeah.
with our business, I was out traveling. I was taking pictures. I started doing YouTube at the time, and it just became so addicting. And then this little thought kept hitting me in the back of the head. It's like you could do something with this too. Like
Wow.
you know what it takes to build
Yep.
a business.
True.
You could take this thing that you love so much, no different than the other thing that you love, because I was very passionate about the industry
Yeah.
that we were in.
Sure.
But you can take this love and you can grow it too. You know
Hmm.
what it takes. Now, I didn't know all the ins and outs. There were certainly some unknowns, and we can dive into that later if you want to. But I knew that I could take that thing and build it again because I was so dang just hooked, and still am to this day. I've been full time with this now since 2021,
Mm.
and still to this day I have that same little giddy feeling that I get every time I hold, whether it's a brand new camera or a piece of crap that doesn't work that I think I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
fix. Like I love it the same as I did the first day.
So, okay. So, dude, first of all, thank you for that. Now, go back
Hmm.
to after the flutter, the crack, right? You
Hmm.
know, and you realize that the camera was for you and not
Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, there's these moments where you're by yourself, you're in the car, you're on the plane, you're
Hmm.
wherever, and you're like, man, this thing is burning inside of me.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, but I've got
Yeah.
this going on.
Uh-huh.
But I want to have this going on.
Hmm.
Like a lot of people would just say, let me just stay put.
Hmm.
You didn't. What gave you the courage, the,
Hmm.
I don't know, the will, man? Because it's not like your business was sucking.
Right.
like you left in a, and transition in a really good, situation.
Yes.
What, man, that's right. That's even probably harder. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like
Yeah.
you were at the bottom of the barrel.
Right.
You were kicking.
Hmm.
And I'm sure those voices like, well, what are people gonna say?
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. So what gave you, let me stop talking. Let me let you answer it, man. Like what gave you the courage and the will, man?
Well, it's funny. So, the transparently, yeah, we were still doing well, and it was in a bad time for the country. I mean, that was
Yeah,
right when COVID had started.
yeah.
We had been told that, we couldn't go out and visit and help families. We had to do everything over the phone or online or whatever. But our team, like we weren't going backwards. We weren't growing a whole lot, but we were still
Really
pretty
solid.
even kilter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
pretty even kilter, and I attribute that to a lot of good people that we had at the time. And that's what made that business, anyways, was the people.
Oh, absolutely.
But the thing really that gave me the courage, there were a couple of standout conversations that were had between me and my upline at the time, to where I knew that
Hmm.
long term, if I did not act on this desire, not that
Hmm.
it could never be presented again.
Hmm.
I think that things can certainly present themselves multiple times. But I knew that at that time, because we had started, it went from this little camera thing to, oh, people are seeing my work and they're asking me to come do my little camera thing, but for their business,
Mm.
or they're asking me to come do my little camera thing and they're going to pay me to shoot their wedding. That's really where it started, was people started asking us to shoot weddings, me and my now business partner Jared. So we started out in the wedding game, and then the pivotal moment, the
Hmm.
pivotal moment with the camera in my hand, we got asked by a local country artist to shoot what we thought was a 30-second sizzle reel. Okay.
Okay.
Thought
Okay.
we were shooting a 30-second sizzle so that he could go and present it to the Nashville producers. He had already had, multiple sessions musicians on his album. So this was his big soiree into
All right.
country music stardom. And we have a meeting with him and his lawyer. And his
Okay.
lawyer presents us a 3-page shot list with a call time of 5 a.m. We realized
Oh.
very quickly this was not a sizzle reel. We were shooting a full-blown music video. It's-
Oh. Surprise.
so we Yeah, surprise, surprise. And the budget for that reflected a 30-second sizzle reel, and 18 hours later, we have a country music video.
Wow.
But that was the moment. I was like, "This is insane right now."
Yeah.
It was two forms of insane. It was like, I cannot believe that we got swindled into shooting a country music video. But then on the other side of that, I was like, I cannot believe I just got to shoot a country music video. So it was twofold, but that was the moment where I was like, hot dang, I love this. I want
Yeah.
more of this.
And it lit you on fire, man, because I could
Yes.
tell. And you can tell when someone is just into something
Yeah.
and when something it is them.
Hmm.
It's a big difference. Like I'm
Yeah.
just into it or this is me.
Yeah. I mean, it
And
became my whole identity. Like, again, I
dude,
was I was in the and I hate to attach like work and hobbies to identity, because that's not the only thing that makes
yeah,
us.
I understand that. Yeah, yeah.
But it did. I mean, after that moment, the thing was glued to my hand, and it even when I was out writing policies, I'm taking pictures with clients, and I'm not using my phone anymore. I'm whipping the camera out, or I'm taking
Oh
videos
shoot.
with clients. Or you'll remember this, when we were traveling up to Missouri, I was taking the camera with me, shooting YouTube videos
Yes, you
on the
were.
way to the hotel. So it's like
Yep.
it became just glued to me. And
Mm.
again, that was the moment, and then the supporting moments that
Yeah.
that really lit me up.
Through this transition, and this is
Hmm.
a great part to bring Sarah in on this conversation because
Hmm.
you and I both have wonderful supportive wives,
Yes.
and I don't know, I don't talk to Sarah, I haven't talked to you about Sarah, but we can
Hmm.
see the result of the phenomenal support system that she is to you.
Yes.
We can see it. All
Hmm.
right. We can see it. We see the joy that you have. We see the success. We see the family pictures and all the good stuff. And of course, I know those are, surface things, but you
Yeah.
can't fake it that long. You know what I'm
Those are
saying?
the
Like,
highlight
fake it
reel.
yeah. So talk to us about that and just real quick about the support system and Sarah and how that journey rocking with her building a family. I mean, you're in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
having kids too,
Oh yeah.
and transitioning from the thing
Oh
that's
yeah.
built the family up. Whew,
Mm-hmm.
that's intense. That made me
Yes.
sweat a little bit.
Yeah.
So, how did that work out? Like, what was going on there, man?
At first, and this goes way back to even whenever me and her were dating. I was in the funeral industry at the time,
Okay.
and when I told her that I was transitioning from the funeral industry to the insurance industry, she was like, "Okay, um, I don't know anything about either one of those businesses, but I trust you. I
Mm,
trust that you're not going to put our future, because at this point in time, our future family in jeopardy.
hmm
Because we've had many of those conversations, like." Yes, dealing with me sometimes is crazy. It's a circus in itself because I have been, well, I'm getting better, but I have in the past been very wing it, fly by the seat of my pants.
Yep, yep.
But that's also one reason that I choose partners in business that are very calculated and precise. And my now business partner, Jared, if you ever meet him, he has an IT background, and so he is by the book, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I
Yep.
need that because he keeps me reeled in sometimes. Anyways, so we have many conversations. She's like, I trust you,
hmm
and I know you're not going to let us fail. Ultimately, too, we know the Lord's not going to let us fail.
That's right.
But
Yep.
from the transition then from insurance to this, that conversation was a little more difficult because, yes, we were a family of four at that point in time with, I think, one on the way.
Okay.
And so that conversation got a little side eyed. She's like, I trust you, but we're
Yep.
about to have number three.
Yep.
You are in a great industry. Now, I know that, you're going through some growing pains at the time, and I know
Sure.
that this other thing's burning. She says, I trust you.
hmm
And I remember she walked in on a conversation that I was having as she walked right back out the house because that conversation was a little more intense than she had
hmm
normally heard. But it was at that moment, she also knew. She's like, okay, I see now why you feel so strongly that you have to have this
hmm
this transition.
Yeah.
She said, "Yeah, I think it's time for us to go," and
Yeah.
that was all I needed. I was like, I don't have a business plan. I don't know what the heck this industry looks like once I step into it full time. I don't know what. I don't know anything.
You just
All I
preached a
know
whole
is,
sermon right there. Right there. That last sentence was an entire sermon. You mean to tell me, my friend, like, I know I heard what you said, and I think people that
Mhm,
are listening and watching heard what you said. I just want to make sure we
mhm,
heard it right. So you
mhm,
mean to tell me after that conversation, Sarah's like, okay, yep, I'm all in.
mhm,
I think it's time. So
yep,
you had no business plan. You
nope,
didn't know what the
zero,
whole thing looked like. You were coming from
zero.
an industry that's been phenomenal for your family, and you
Mhm,
guys were in a really good spot. And you
yep,
made the conscious decision to pivot into the unknown passion.
yes,
Bruh.
yes.
Yeah, we're gonna let that sizzle for a second.
And listen, for anyone listening, this is not financial advice, but I will say, I would not have done it any differently had I had it to do over again. Even with even with that massive amount of void of unknowing, I don't know what, I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know
Mhm,
where.
mhm,
I did know one thing. I knew that because of previous experience, I knew that because I had had dang near 10 years worth of molding myself and being molded,
mhm,
I knew that regardless of if it was with a pen in my hand writing insurance policies or a
mhm,
camera in my hand taking pictures and videos, I knew that I could go talk to people
mhm.
and help them see the value in whatever it was that I was doing, so long as it was legal.
Right, sure. Here's what's so killer, man. And I would imagine, like I knew, like I can't speak
Mhm,
for Sarah or anyone else in your family, but I knew for me when I saw you making this transition, I started seeing the IG post and your
mhm,
photos, and then YouTube start popping up. You're doing tutorials and reviews
mhm.
and different things like that, and and I'm a fan of you, so I'm watching it. I have no idea some of the stuff you were talking about because that's not my field. I mean, straight
Probably
up.
don't care
But
about it, and that's okay.
yeah, no, that's cool. But I did learn some things though. Like,
Yeah.
I learned about like different, textures with video
Yep.
colors and stuff like that. And even when we shot the one little particular video in the old business,
Yeah, training video.
Yeah, training video. I learned some like backlighting. So look,
Hmm.
man, I remember some of these things.
Nice.
I got you.
Good term, backlighting.
Yeah, I know a little bit of something. So,
Yep.
but what was cool about it is like you made this plunge, and I'm watching. I'm like, he's gonna be fine.
Mm.
He's gonna be
I
totally
appreciate
fine.
that.
He's gonna be fine because whether it was what we did before or something
Mm.
else, there's one word that I heard you say all the time to people that work with us,
Mm.
and you led by example, and it starts with the E. That
Mm.
word starts with the E. You told people all the time, all it takes is effort.
Mm. Yep.
And I knew because I had seen so much effort from you for your family. And I would dare say, Sarah
Mm.
has seen so much effort. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
your track record is impeccable
Yeah.
when it
I
comes
appreciate that.
to like get her done. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
I appreciate
like
that.
like your track record is phenomenal when it comes to like you may not your track record of knowing everything and having it all
Yeah.
figured out and being perfect and all these no one
Yeah.
does, but your track record of diving in and making lemonade when no one saw any
Mm.
lemons at all anywhere, like dude, you're good at
I
that, man.
appreciate that.
So I
And
knew
what's funny is the industry that I'm in now, specifically when it comes to, getting the camera rolling, getting a
Mhm.
project in the works, getting editing finished. The saying that we have in the production world now is, and it's funny because this translates to everything.
Yep.
There are times, most of the time, where done is better than perfect.
Boy, ain't that the truth.
Because
That applies to, yeah.
perfect will stop you in your tracks. It will stop you from
Yes.
making the leap because you don't have a perfect business plan. It
Yep.
will stop you from finishing a project because you're racking your brain over details that probably don't matter. Um, the thing that always shines though is done. Getting things done is better than them being perfect.
That's sermon number 2 for the day right there. Oh my gosh, bro. So that applies. I relate to that because being in the music business before I met you,
Hmm.
that was always the thing. You could sit there and mix a record for a year,
Yes, yes, and
like
you're going to get
finish
ear
it.
fatigue, and it's going to be worse.
Right, it's gonna be end up being worse. Right, fix
Mhm.
it. Like just like yeah, I gotta keep fixing. I gotta keep fixing. No, you don't. Sometimes songs are or even probably projects and videos you've worked on.
Mhm.
Less is more.
Yes,
Stop editing.
simplicity. Yep,
Simplicity. Mondo,
yep.
Garrett, stop editing. It's
Hmm.
good now. But I didn't do doesn't matter. Right? It's
Yes.
done. Yeah, I know you
I
get
didn't
yeah.
have this crossfade at this certain moment that nobody will care about.
That that no one will care. That's exactly right, man. So now that you're in this business, so fast forward, you've been in it, what, 4 years, 5 years, going on
Yep.
5? Okay.
Yep.
You're the business partner. I'm sure your business plan has been developing on the fly
Yes.
to a degree. To a
Yes.
degree. Um, Talk to us about partnership. I love that because partnerships are key. There's delegation. There's people that work
Hmm.
with you. There's people that work for you. The hire guns. There's your homie.
Yes.
Talk to us about that process of finding the right partner. You said a little bit about like the complementary skill set
Yeah.
and all that, but really dive in on that if you don't mind.
Yeah, I think so. Just to continue on that thought, the first partner that I believe anybody should choose is a partner that does complement your weaknesses,
Mm,
because those are things that right off the bat, like you're going to be weak at. You're inherently weak. So with me, I am weak with systems. Sometimes I'm weak at like digital communication. I come from a background where everything is in person. So I would rather drive 5 hours to go talk to a business about their production.
hmm
Whereas Jared knows, hey, dude, we can handle this in an email. I got you.
mm, hmm
So it's to me, it's very important right off the rip to partner with people who immediately up your skill set. Not whether that be directly, like whether you learn from them directly on how to
Yeah,
email, how to keep track of minutes, how to whatever,
yeah,
or whether indirectly it benefits you.
sure.
Jared indirectly benefits me a lot on the communication side, and then it's funny because he has an IT background, he is much more. he's much more uncomfortable in person. And I'm like, that's great. I'll go talk to people all day long. I love it.
Yeah.
I gain energy from talking to people in person. So to me, it's like, okay, now we're a juggernaut because I can
Yeah.
handle the upfront communications. Once we have a project in the door, once we need the numbers, once we need the email chain to start, like I know Jared's got me. I don't even,
Mm.
I rarely look at our email because I know that he's got the communication side
Okay.
on the back end.
So you're telling me I probably shouldn't hire just my best buddy that I play softball with, and I think it'd be fun to, because we're the same. We have a lot in common. We're the same, and that's
No,
not a
because
good
he's going
idea.
to have the same weakness as you do. If you're playing softball at 3 p.m., he's probably there with you playing softball at 3 p.m. and nothing's getting done at that point in time.
Yeah, yeah,
So
true.
it's
That's
so
true.
like, yeah. Again, you got to have people like if you're playing softball at 3 p.m. and he's back at the desk doing emails. Great. While he's asleep, that's when you're working. So like again, you complement each other. And
See,
again, it even goes to the time schedule. Like Jared knows that I'm not a 3:30 a.m. go start the email chain riser. But
okay,
Jared also knows that while he's asleep in bed at 2 a.m., I'm probably doing my thing. Like
yeah, yeah,
I'm would rather work later into the night because that's my quiet time.
yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I'm more of a second shift, late
Yeah.
second shift kind of dude.
Right.
So
Late second shift and Jared's like the first shift. Like he wakes up at like 3:87 a.m. every day, like gets his Bible reading in and then starts the email chains. And I'm like, that's great, man.
that's a great compliment, man. It kind of sounds like almost like a marriage or a business
It
marriage.
is,
You know what I mean?
for sure.
Finding that right partner,
For
who
sure.
knows, who you can be the face, the partner can be the nurturer, or maybe you're
Yes.
the nurturer and other person can be the face, or whatever.
Yes.
That's pretty sounds like my household. There we go. You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's partner that should be partner number 1 through 5, in my opinion. It is people who
Mm.
just directly fill in your gaps.
Because it is a good chance you're filling in theirs, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's complimentary.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
mutually exclusive. And so after that, whenever we talk about scaling the business, one cool thing specifically in video production
Mhm.
is you have kind of two streets that you can take. You can
Okay.
scale a business to where you're doing some internal hires. Maybe you have an internal editor. Maybe you
Yeah.
have internal bookkeeper, whatever. But in the video industry specifically, and I'm sure this is pretty common too in the music industry where you come
Hmm.
from,
Hmm.
um, we actually have the opportunity to use a lot of contractor work.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so the cool thing with contractors is I don't have to have a full-time second shooter or I don't have to have a full-time editor on salary. I can use them as needed in conjunction with our production schedule. So, for example, last week I had a production 2 days in Virginia.
Yeah.
I knew that for those 2 days, Jared and I were hired in to be director and cinematographer. We were going to have a producer on set, and we were also going to have him doing the editing on the back end. So
Okay.
my only job for that 2 day production was to make sure that everything in front of the camera looked absolutely perfect for this company.
Mm.
So that's what's fun is like you're building partners, but you're also building relationships that don't
Yeah.
necessarily always have to be full time internal.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
that's kind of fun to me. But you still have to use your judgment and fish out good people and people
Oh,
that
yeah.
still complement what you're doing.
Yeah. Good people are hard to find. So
They are. They can be.
yeah, and when you
They can
find them,
be.
you want to hold on to them. It can be, yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. So we
So
we have a reoccurring list of contractors that we go to, and
oh, there
uh,
you go. Okay.
yeah. So that again, they're reoccurring without having to be full time salary.
See, good business model. And I'm sure that's something that you and your partner Jared discussed on
Yes.
how to scale
Mm.
without incurring the monthly expense of
Yes.
salaries and wages.
Yes.
Look at there.
Absolutely.
Looky there. Looky there. Now, going on 5 years, half a decade in,
Hmm.
you've gone from weddings to
Hmm.
music videos
Hmm.
to obviously, dude, I'm seeing all kinds of commercials.
Yeah.
I'm seeing all kinds of stuff, man. What is next, or is there a next as far as project? Like, what kind of things on the horizon for you guys?
So right now, our bread and butter is the commercial side of things. We have companies on retainer that we do social media content for.
Oh,
So they pay
nice.
a monthly fee, and we shoot a month's worth of content for them. So that's good for your smaller businesses. That's good, even medium to large size businesses, because a lot of businesses, even in our area, are just now getting privy to, oh man, I've got to be everywhere all the time on social media. And so they're either behind and don't have a marketing department at all, or their marketing department can't pull off the magnitude of content that they need, nor the quality. A lot of even bigger businesses in our area, they have a marketing person who also is the personal assistant to the CEO. They are the HR department. They, make the coffee in the morning. So like the content suffers. So for them, our job is to just give them content that doesn't suck, that actually builds their business, builds their brand, because brand is so important nowadays, especially on social media. So that's our bread and butter. And then over the past 2 years, we've leaped into larger budget productions on the commercial side, as far as, and also a live event. One of my favorite productions that we do, this will be the third year that we've done it, is an online coaching program. Typically they do a 3-day live event in Nashville. This year they have moved it to Austin, Texas. And the cool thing with that is, and this just goes back to, again, what we were molded and trained in the past. They trust us so much. They like us so much. We've built a great relationship with them to where they could have hired a crew in Austin, Texas. A dang good crew. There's some great directors and DPs in Austin, Texas. But we've been with them. We've rocked with them now for 2 events. They trust us enough to where they probably paid a little bit extra to get us there, but they want us on site with them. And I respect them so much for that.
That is awesome.
And so as far as the next step goes for us, it's just to continue to build relationships with the larger agencies, the larger producers, the larger directors, and eventually I want all of that to be able to fund our own feature-length film. I've always had a desire since getting into this industry to either shoot a full-blown narrative or shoot a full-blown documentary. So, and maybe even both. I've got a documentary in the works right now that is in post-production and on the table of a few producers. So if that gets accepted, then we're shooting a documentary at that point in time. So there's many different avenues that the production world can take you. But we've got our bread and butter. So the bread and butter is, all right, the bill payer is these retainer clients, smaller budget projects, and then your larger budget projects are just icing on the cake each year.
That's awesome, man. And I can imagine that everything you broke down was not on a whiteboard when you made the initial pivot.
It's still not. It's except when we write the projects up there. Like when literally my whiteboard is right here beside me on the wall. And so we've got the projects up there, and it's like, okay, I know that's what's coming down the pipeline. I got to find more of those. Like,
and my point in saying that is, dude, like everything you just described, and I know there's more. But none of that was on the radar when you made the leap. That's what I want to encourage people to see here. This is a living, breathing example, a man who has a family. He's not single, living in a 1-bedroom or a studio, and just got all the kind of, no, he's got some people that are counting on him, some humans.
I bought this Mountain Dew with my own money, not mom and dad's.
Yeah, exactly. That's not mama's basement he's sitting in right now. Okay, so no, this dude literally had a business that was kicking, made a pivot, great conversations, home support, wife support, family support. I would imagine even you got a great family, all that. And then you're like, okay, I have no idea what's going to be on that future whiteboard.
Nope.
But we're going to fill it in over time.
We got to fill it up.
We're going to fill it up. Dude, that right there, man, is, wouldn't you say the fulfillment, Garrett, the joy, even mixed with the anxiety of the unknown, is much better of a feeling than not moving at all.
Absolutely. And even in the hardest times, because anytime you grow a business, it's not all going to be this all the time. It's not going to go up.
For real.
If it does, hats off to you. Hats off to you.
Yeah, holler at me if you figure that out.
Holler at me, and we'll grow another business.
You're right.
But the thing that I've learned is, even in those hardest of times, I've always said to myself what you just said. This is a whole lot better than laying on my back doing nothing. This is a whole lot better than sitting at a desk for someone else. This is a whole lot better than XYZ thing. And again, I know that in a moment, in a moment, as long as I'm continuing to move forward, and
Mm-hmm.
long as I'm continuing to put in effort, that it can change in a moment. And that moment can be a 30-second phone call from a company that you sent an email to, and they're like, "Hey, we weren't ghosting you. We just forgot to reply to your email, but now we need this project done. And oh, by the way, that project is 1/3 of your business for the year." So it's like, okay, I
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
even in those
exactly.
times, and having that support system from Sarah to, on the days where, it is a little bit mucky, she's like, "Hey, go fill the whiteboard up. You've got to
Yeah.
be talking to anybody and everybody."
I love that, man. I love this. So now I want to pivot again
Hmm.
because we already talked about it, but I think from a logistical standpoint, and I've had this conversation quite a bit in regards to being a business owner,
Hmm.
being a businessman, being a husband, and being a father. The 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 I want to say balance because there really is no balance, but it is a
No.
juggle. But it is a
Yeah.
juggle. Okay, it is a juggle. So what are some of the things like if you had to advise someone who, there's some people out there, men or women, that are like I'm trying to navigate this space. I'm a parent.
Hmm.
I'm newly married, or maybe I've been whatever it is. I have this like, what does the where world look like? I mean, what are the conversations? I'm saying, you know what I'm
Yeah.
asking? Like, get into that, man, if you don't mind.
Yeah. The conversations in the where world, that's hard to say fast.
It is hard to
Um,
say.
those conversations really gather and congregate around this right here. This is our family calendar.
Okay. Yep.
That if I don't have this, I have
Yep.
no clue what's going
Mhm.
on.
Yep.
Because life is wild, and so again, the navigation and the juggling literally is based around that calendar. Because there's times where, "Hey, babe, I just got this inquiry in. We have a
Mhm.
soft date of XYZ for production." She's like, "Okay,
Mhm.
here's the calendar. We've got to fill in around that." Then, so she's really good too about
Mhm.
um, having a pulse on my schedule, and I try my best, and I'm terrible at it. Again, the digital
Mhm.
side of things, to fill in even the soft dates. If I can even
Yeah.
fill in the soft dates with the
Yeah.
calendar, that helps her tremendously because she's scheduling practices, she's scheduling doctor's appointments.
Yep.
She's a teacher, so she's also running
Mhm.
her work schedule. So it's like it is a balancing act that all revolves around that calendar and
Yeah.
me remembering to put things in the
Yeah,
calendar.
no, for real. Hey, so we have a family calendar as well, and I'm
Yeah.
awful. Like, and not even
Yep.
just putting stuff in. And I'm literally, we just had this talk recently about this. Not just putting stuff in, but you know, recognizing the reminders. Like,
Yeah.
I'll see the reminder, I'm like, okay, cool, and then I just
Yeah.
kind of pump it up and
I
then
swipe
keep
them
it
away
moving.
and I forget about them.
Right. And she's like, the
Well, too,
reminder is there for a reason.
yes, and our conversations too, more often than not, our big disgruntlement around the calendar is I'll say, "Well, I told you that 2 weeks ago." She's like, "Is it in the calendar?" I'm like, "Well, no, but I told you." She's like, "If it ain't in the calendar, you didn't tell me."
Yeah, yeah. See, yeah, I hear the same thing. I've been hanging out and talking. They say the same
Yep.
thing, man. So what I want people to hear from this part is the level of
Hmm.
intention. The level
Yeah.
of intention. Of course, I mean, we both admitted that we're not perfect with it,
Right.
but there is a plan, though. There is
There
a
is.
there's this plan. There's a system, and there is intention on making sure that okay, the family unit is priority. God first,
Yes.
family, business, right? We
Yes.
keeping that order. So it's like, all right. Well, all right, we got to make sure that, nothing's getting in the way of our spiritual growth, our spiritual life, number
Right.
one. Number two, all right, nothing's getting in the way of our family life, which obviously
Right.
includes the spirit, and then of course work. So all these things are congruent, we're rocking together.
Hmm.
And people, I think some people, especially some younger folks I talk to, they try to figure out like something's always set, like something's got to give. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't buy. Do you buy that, Garrett? Do you
That
buy like
something's got to give.
yeah, like something's got to give. Like I think that's an excuse for poor planning, in my
I was gonna say
opinion.
I don't think anything will ever give because life is always going to be throwing things at you.
Ex-
Uh, and it can
exactly.
be it can be unexpected things or expected things. You're always going. We live in a day and age where, for better or for worse, we always have something going on.
Yep.
Now there are times where I want to totally deload, and so we take some deload time. But 90% of the time, especially once you introduce a family,
Oh,
kids into the situation, like
bro.
they they've always got crap going on. Like somebody is always getting sick. They're swapping
Yeah.
boogers at school. They've got
Yep.
gymnastics. They've got doctor's appointments. Like something's always going to be happening.
Yep.
So you have to learn to, and this comes from the industry that you and I were both in. Sometimes you have to be like water. You have to learn how to flow through those things that are
Yes.
coming up.
Yes. I would say that for you and I, the insurance business taught us a lot about that principle right there.
Absolutely. That
Uh,
is something that I'm so thankful for from the
yes.
insurance industry.
Yes, 100%. Just being adaptable, being flexible, finding the positive and pivoting, finding the positive in last minute pivots,
Yes.
unexpected pivots,
Yes.
life in pivoting, like versus Debbie Downer, let me go
Yeah.
cry about it. No, it's like, all right, cool. Well, didn't expect that today. Like in our business, you remember, man, like it's one of the things where you could wake up with a plan, like from
Hmm.
literally from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Yep.
And by the time you get home at 9 p.m., nothing on your plan
Yeah.
happened.
Shoot, by the
Literally
time you get
nothing.
to 9:01, nothing happened.
Yeah.
9:01 a.m., everything's done been wrecked. Like it just.
Yeah, exactly. And so just the idea of pivoting. So I know that skill set lives within the Ware household. It definitely does
Yeah.
here. But I would say that's not just a skill set to say, hey, Garrett and Mondo are awesome. No, we want to encourage people to adopt that. And
Yes.
my suggestion is, I hope you would agree, it actually relieves a lot of stress
It
and
does.
anxiety.
It does.
Like because when you're so rigid and to a plan, and I'm so
Hmm.
psycho about making sure what I wrote down happens today and next week and next month, dude, you getting like muscle anxiety and brain like fixation. Like what?
Yeah, and ultimately, this leads back even to my faith.
Yeah,
Whenever I'm freaking out about having that control,
yep,
um, I'm placing the wrong emphasis on who actually is in control.
man, come on,
Very, actually, 0% of the time am I actually in control of what happens.
that's right.
I can control my actions. I can control how I respond,
Yep,
but I can't control what
what
happens every single
happens?
day. I
That's
can have an
exactly
idea.
right.
I can have an idea, but again, I'm not in control of all that. So as soon as you realize that, as soon as you can release that thought and kick it out the door and grind it and throw it in the trash because it's an impossible thought to keep, if we're
Mm,
being 100% honest.
mm,
As soon as I realize that I'm not the author of the control thing,
yeah,
it's a very freeing thing. And that way, whenever things do come up
yeah,
that are unfavorable, that maybe weren't in the schedule or in the plan for that day, I'm just like, oh, okay, let's go, let's rock it.
dude. This is so good, man. I I, I want to go back to something in a minute.
Hmm.
I'm gonna save it for how we close because this
Okay.
is yeah. I'm gonna save that one. I'm gonna save that one. I do want to talk about some of the lessons as a father.
Yeah.
You got three beautiful babies, man, and I
Yep.
know for me, I have learned a lot about myself, my friend. Looking at little mirrors walking around the house,
Yep. Arguing with myself. It's annoying.
dealing with myself all the time. So talk to us about some of those, the top two or three things that you could say, wow, I need to work on that. Like, or wow, I do that. Like,
Mhm.
what were some of those things, man? What having babies?
Top three things when it comes to fatherhood. Number one, and this is above
Yeah.
all things, there is no amount of money in the world worth your time
Oof,
with them. And the reason I
man.
say that is I believe that money is fluid. Money comes and goes.
Yep.
My money comes and goes. I have the ability, I have opportunities, I have people in my corner that I know if worse came to worse, I can create opportunity to have money flowing as fast or as slow as I want it to.
Hmm.
However, I cannot get time back that I have missed if I've missed it with them. And that was made very apparent to me. There was a very specific situation where when my daughter was born,
Hmm.
actually when Cole was born, our first son,
Yeah.
whenever he was born, I was in a time in my life and a time in my mentality where I did not understand what I was sacrificing by missing life moments
Okay.
of Cole's, and I missed quite a few, and
Okay.
that still hurts. That still hurts. There was a very specific moment where when Kate was born, our second child, that I missed key moments,
Okay.
chasing a dollar,
Mm.
um, not understanding. and in my mind at that time, I was like, oh my gosh, I'll never be able to have this dollar ever again if I let this dollar go.
Right.
And that's just not true. Money is fluid. Money comes and goes. They print it every single day, except for now we're not printing the penny anymore. That's different.
No,
That's
no,
different thing.
no. Stop
But money comes and goes.
Yeah.
It comes and goes. But time with them does not.
That's right.
That's fleeting. So that's lesson number one is no amount of money in the world worth sacrificing those guys.
Yes.
Second thing, being a father is like running a business. You have little people that are relying on you. And so you have to be the even kilter one. It doesn't matter if you're having the crappiest day that you've ever had. It doesn't matter if you're having, again, plans not go according to plan. They have to understand that if shit's hitting the fan, daddy's still got it. Daddy can still rock. Right. That would be number two. Again, even on the worst days. And thing number three when it comes to fatherhood and family is, and you'll know this, you'll understand this. Trust mama's intuition.
Boy,
because I don't know what it is about women. I don't know what it is about women, and specifically my woman. And I'm sure you can say this about yours,
man. Yeah.
But if she's got a feeling, 99.999% of the time, she's probably right. When it comes to seeking out snakes, when it comes to seeking out things that are not good for our health as a family.
Man, look, that should be another book in the Gospels. That is so, oh my God. And why is it, Garrett, that sometimes, even with the truth you just spoke, and we both know it to the core of us, we are sometimes so stubborn to forget that. Like,
because we're men and we're dumb sometimes.
Yes, right. Sometimes. And we're prideful.
We're prideful. Again, it goes back to the control thing. We like control.
Man, yeah.
And as a business owner, like letting go of control can be tough. Again, I learned that when the first project that we ever delegated to an editor, I was like, oh Lord, what if he ruins this whole project and we lose a client? I'm like, okay, on the other side of that, what if he gets it 90% of the way there and that saved me 6 hours of time?
Yeah.
So it's the control thing. Control's hard to let go of.
It is, man. Yeah, that's so good, dude. I mean, I'm trying to get to the point where my default is when I can tell, Selena's dialed in and that female intuition is like God speaking through her for real.
Yes.
To say, got it.
Okay.
Got it.
Cool.
Let's do it. Let's not do it. Or you're right. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. Just like, yep. But here sometimes I'm like, I hear you, but I'm like, I gotta stop doing that.
You're saying words. You're saying words.
Yeah, I'm saying words. But yeah, that's so true though, man. Thank you for that. I think that can help a lot of people, especially men, who are entrepreneurs trying to figure out, because you can get caught in that rabbit hole, man. I did that in the beginning, chasing that dollar, it was hurting the marriage. It was hurting the children, and someone took me by the shoulders and shook the piss out of me.
Yep.
And was like, what are you doing, dude?
Yep.
I'm like, what? I'm providing. What?
Yeah. For who?
Yeah. See? That right? Ego? Yes, for the ego. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Providing doesn't necessarily mean money.
No.
Matter of fact, I don't think it means money at all.
I could agree with that.
If you have a dad who's been around for a minute, like, I don't think
money is a tool. It's simply a tool.
It's a tool. It's a tool. But our kids aren't going to remember the tool.
No.
They're going to remember the time, as you said.
Yeah. So they're going to remember when dad was or was not there.
Man, look, bruh, you can give me all chills, and I got that. You got me going down to different memory lanes. I'm like, let me stop. I'm gonna start getting all glossy eyed and crap. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's so good, dude. I think that will help a lot of people who are trying to navigate that space, like I said, man. And
as an entrepreneur, one of the best things you can do for your business is find one singular woman that will just rock with you. Especially if you're a young entrepreneur, because again, as money's flowing in, as things are happening, it's very easy, especially if you're single, to go try to find a lot of friends, a lot of partners. But if you find one singular woman that will rock with you, come hell or high water, that's the best thing you can do for your business.
Boy, what you said. Oh man, look. I actually, what's crazy. I'm not gonna do it, but I know some examples of both. One, you and Sarah, they were on the good
Hmm.
side of, that exactly thing you talked about, and some
Hmm.
others. Then I unfortunately know some other side
Yeah.
where like their business is a reflection of your personal life.
Yes.
I know kind of, I believe that actually. Like I do believe that. Like your
Hmm.
business, if it's a hot mess, well, let's look at your personal life for a second.
Yeah.
And I think some people chase the opposite. They flip it, right, Garrett? Let me get
Yeah.
my business perfect so everyone in my family be perfect and everybody's happy.
Hmm.
Nah, you got to bass backwards on that. Like, you know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, we got to flip
Yep.
that bad boy. It's like, no, 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 no. Like,
One of my best clients. He's been with me now for 4 years. We've been
mhm,
we've been month to month with him for 4 years, just like clockwork. The best thing that he did for himself, because he's a young entrepreneur,
yeah,
makes a lot of money.
yeah,
The best thing that he ever did was we told him, "Hey, quit playing games. Quit playing
hmm,
games."
hmm.
He's set to be married this year. His business is thriving. He's happy. His personal life is thriving. They have a wonderful future ahead of them. Just because that one decision that he decided to make.
Mm. Bro, this is I can't wait to clip this up and just have so many you dropping dimes, bro. So I love this, man, because I could talk to you for like 4 more hours, and I know both of
Oh
us
yeah.
having businesses, we got stuff to do. I would like to ask you this because you already covered what I was going to go back to, so you already got
Mhm.
it. But to leave people with something before we get into where they can find you and all that good stuff, and more about your, kind of your business and all the social
Mhm.
stuff, what would you leave? I would specifically say a young man, entrepreneur
Mhm.
who is about to make the leap but apprehensive,
Mhm.
or not making it because they're scared,
Mhm.
or maybe even if you pick one, or the person who just did and they're like, oh crap, did I mess up?
Mhm.
Which one of those characters do you want to address? The one that just made it, the one that already did, freaking out, or the one that's contemplating?
I would address the one that's scared, and this is because whenever Jared and I first decided to go full time with this, he
Hmm.
was the one who was very apprehensive. Jared had a great position
Mm.
with a great local company. They took care of him. Um, he had a great salary. He was pretty apprehensive, and we talk about this openly.
Hmm.
But to the one who's scared, my rebuttal to that every single time is okay. Say you get in this and it doesn't work. Let's go negative for a second. Let's just say it absolutely for whatever reason, whether
Hmm.
it be your under your power or whoever's powers that be that you just didn't make it
Yeah.
with that leap. The absolute worst that can happen is you plop yourself right back where you were and you continue kicking. That's the worst thing that can happen. And I told Jared that because he was very afraid. He's like, well, if I leave this position, I can't get it back. I was like, dude, there are IT positions every single day of the week
Yeah.
that you can plop yourself into, maybe even in a better position than you're in now, and you don't even realize it.
Hmm.
That's the absolute worst that can happen. I tell myself every day, the absolute worst that can happen is Dollar General. They're serving out applications every single day of the week. I can always go work at Dollar General.
For real. But
like
dude,
that, when it comes to a job, like those things are so
yeah.
just a dime a dozen to me,
Yeah.
and it's because I've been self-employed now for golly since 20 really since I graduated high school, so 2011.
Okay.
Had very few jobs. I can count on three fingers how many jobs I've actually ever had.
There you go.
But those things are a dime a dozen. What on the opposite side of that though, what if it works? And what if it works really good? And not even just financially, like financials aside, what if it works so good that you're able to not have to answer to an employer? Or what if it works so well that you do get to have time, as much
Yeah.
time as you want with your
Yeah.
family? What if it works so well to where when you wake up, You don't have to go onto your app and see a schedule that somebody else posted for you that you have to be at a location. What if you're the one that gets to make that schedule? What if it works so well that those things happen? So to me, for the person who's scared, there's far greater regret, in my opinion, in not making the leap than there is in making the leap and failing miserably. Like, this could all crash and burn tomorrow, and I'll be, again, putting in that Dollar General application until I can find something else to build. And I would have far less regret about that than I would just staying where I'm at.
I'm not going to say anything. There's no reason to. Like, you, bro, you can, oh my God, that's so good, man. Garrett, for those who are listening to you and they're like, who is this dude? I need more.
He's just a wildcat from East Tennessee.
I'll tell you, man. Hey, one of the nicest people I know, man. Just, dude, I love you to death, man. You're a great guy, man. A
Likewise,
godly
my
man,
friend.
family guy, man. And I'm proud of what you're doing as a brother, man.
Appreciate
Just
that.
to see what you're doing. And I will give you this back real quick, where your journey, brother to brother, it's good to see someone else taking leaps and not succumbing to the old identity that others saw you as.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, I'm gonna stay that because that's what they're used to.
That's no fun. That's boring.
That's boring. That's not fun. But to see you do it, and I have some other friends and brothers that have done it. It's like, it's nice to have some comrades, some guys in the trenches that say, you know what, G did it. Hey, you know what? I'm no different. I could do it too. If they did it, yeah, Jay did it, this, da, da, da. And so it's really cool, man, to see how you're doing it, but also how it bleeds through a little device like this.
Yeah. Yep.
To give inspiration and say, you know what, my man's doing it. I'm gonna keep doing my thing. And know that your identity is not in your vocation.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, like, thank you, man. I love this. Where can people find you, my friend? Give us all the stuff. I want every platform you got. Like, and we'll put it in the description and everything. Where can they find you, man?
Yeah. So, I mean, our website's motioncreative.media. Instagram is Motion Creative Media. My personal Instagram is Garrett_Ware_. That's my personal photo page, where you can see all the things that I just find neat as I'm out shooting.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the big ones. And then on YouTube, just Garrett Ware and Motion Creative Media.
And if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking at, man, or whatever you're part of, and you're like, man, we could really use some great social media management, or we could use some video content, picture content, or maybe just a console. I'm actually creating stuff for you, Garrett. I'm creating stuff. If you console.
Oh, we do all that. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. If you got a
it's
wedding,
like you're in the marketing department.
Yeah, exactly, right. If you got a wedding you're trying to do this summer or next something in the fall or whatever, hey, definitely hit up Garrett. Man, you would definitely enjoy his conversation, him and Jared. I can't wait to meet him as well. Man, so proud of you, my dude. Thank you again for taking the time, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, guys, AMG Podcast, G Ware here. And your boy Mondo, we bring in the heat. We're going to have some more phenomenal guests following. It's going to be hard to follow up Garrett, though. I ain't going to lie. So whoever's up, buckle up. All right. Hey, you guys have a phenomenal day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Later.
See you.